bringing you news and information from around the Pacific Command. This is your AFN Pacific Report.
Thanks for joining us on this edition of AFN Pacific Report. I'm Senior Airman Therese Garnier. On Monday, Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel reaffirmed that the U.S.-Japan alliance remains the cornerstone of security and prosperity in Northeast Asia. The Secretary made the comment following a series of meetings with Japan's defense minister at the Pentagon, during which they discussed North Korea, the East China Sea, and creating a new working group for joint intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities. Hagel said the U.S. remains steadfast in its defense commitments to Japan, including extended deterrence and a further nuclear umbrella. On a related note, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Martin Dempsey, discussed the forward deployed presence of U.S. troops in the Pacific during a stop at Yokota Air Base last week.
I'm an advocate, strong advocate, of having a significant portion of the force forward stationed in places like Europe, in Japan, and in the Republic of Korea, now in Australia, for two reasons. One is I think there's nothing quite so assuring to our allies as our presence there, and particularly with our families. And secondly, it's an incredible tool of leader development. I mean, I've found that some of our best leaders are those who have immersed themselves into a different culture and had the developmental experience of doing that. So as we balance ourselves, I will continue to be an advocate of forward stationing. And I don't think, as I sit here today, I don't think it'll change much in the Pacific because, of course, we are seeking to emphasize our role in the Pacific.
Military police at Camp Zama teamed up with a group of medical professionals for a day of training designed to ensure they have the skills necessary to save lives.
18 soldiers from the 88th Military Police Detachment conducted cardiopulmonary resuscitation training in collaboration with MEDAC Japan at Camp Zama. This marked the first time MEDAC Japan has held joint CPR training with another unit from the installation.
The general idea with this class is so that the MPs, who are the first responders on scene whenever there's a 911 call occurs, can apply any life-saving measures to a patient that requires it.
The training was based on a National Heart Association program which teaches participants how to administer CPR to everyone from infants to adults, and also how to provide various first aid.
It basically gives us a leg to stand on when we're out patrolling and stuff. It gives us a hands up, being first responders, we're always going to be the first people out there, so, this is it's really a big impact for the community.
Medics, we work side by side, so hopefully we could ease the job for them once they get there.
CPR training is very important because any patient that requires CPR, that's when their heart stops and they stop breathing, it's vital to the person to stay alive.
The training was meant to support and enhance the soldiers' knowledge in the event that they have to take action as first responders in the event of injury or illness. Reporting for U.S. Army Garrison Japan, this is Dustin Perry.
This year's annual Catoosa U.S. Soldier Friendship Week is commemorating the 60th anniversary of the U.S. ROK Alliance. But as that name implies, it's also celebrating friendships made between Korean and American soldiers that extend beyond the actual week.
He took second place in last year's Catoosa U.S. Soldier Friendship Week talent show. This year, he's the opening act.
How y'all feeling? Y'all feeling good? Y'all ready for this? When I stepped on the stage, I was like, oh my God, they got me as the first act. And historically speaking, like when you're the first act, it's like first to go, the first one to be forgotten, or the last place, But when I got on the stage and I said something to the crowd, the response that I got back was just wonderful.
This is Sergeant McIntosh's third year to build friendships that will outlast Friendship Week.
This is my Catoosa right there. We do marathons, we do hiking, man, we do everything. So most definitely, it does build a stronger bond.
Sergeant McIntosh is participating in a variety of events during the Friendship Week. He's most confident in the 5K team run.
I like to just dig in, full sprint, make up whatever time I lost going down. So the run was pretty exciting. Whew, it's painful. Oh my God. I would say don't be afraid, you know what I'm saying? You have something, come on out. get on stage and have some fun.
Specialist Tyler Ferris, USAG Yongsan, Korea.
Coming up, service members judge a science fair. But first, let's take a look around the Pacific Command in today's Snapshots.
Airmen show their support for victims of the Boston Marathon bombing during a tribute run at Kunsan Air Base. 2 F-16 Fighting Falcons soar above the clouds during a training mission at Misawa Air Base. Vietnamese military members take a tour of USS Chung Hoon as part of a naval exchange activity in Vietnam. And that's a look around the Pacific Command in today's Snapshots.
Sailors and airmen on the island of Guam grabbed their clipboards and headed for the local elementary school to serve as judges for the student science fair.
So is the food coloring coming out of the oil and into the water? Is that what happened?
Sailors and airmen on Guam took time out of their busy days to fill the role as judges at the Upi Elementary School Science Fair. The judges interviewed more than 50 students in kindergarten to 5th grade about their science projects. School officials say integrating service members into the event is beneficial to the students.
I think it's really good for the kids also, so they can see like different types of careers that are available to them when they're older. So I think it's very good and a good diversity for the kids.
For the men in uniform, volunteering at the school served another purpose.
Is that what it looked like when you actually found it?
No, that's from the video.
Good job. Oh, I love to work with kids. Kids are pretty much what the future's going to be, so I figured if I can have an impact on it, it makes me feel good about myself at the end of the day.
All right, foamy fountain. Is it going to make foamy? All right. That is awesome.
It's a very rewarding experience to see it in a child's eyes that they're actually learning, and to see the light bulb go off that they have an idea and that they think it is, that you think it's great.
Interaction is really big, especially here on Guam where there is such a strong military presence, that being able to interact military to the community really shows that we're all here to support each other and, you know, make sure that we're all doing good things for the community. Food coloring dissolving into the water? Yeah.
Through the military's Community Relations Program, service members have developed positive partnerships with the various public schools on Guam. For Joint Region Marianas, I am Colleen Nicholas Perez.
Meanwhile, at Yokosuka, multiple commands pitched in to deliver a girls-only day of activities devoted to science and math.
More than 400 girls gathered at Yokosuka Middle School for a girls-only STEM conference. The school invited students from Zama and Atsugi to participate. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math, and multiple commands around the base demonstrate different STEM-related jobs.
The conference offers girls an opportunity to see people who have achieved success in STEM fields throughout the Navy.
Guest speaker Lieutenant Corinne Devon, Miss United States 2012, motivates students to work hard and expand their horizons.
The message I wanted to put out to the girls is I wanted to really inspire them and let them know that there is so much to be seized, and especially in the math and science field. It's so much more than just being a scientist or being a professor, but that you could be a physician, you could be a dentist, and you don't have to follow a certain path to get there, that you really can be innovative in how you go about doing that.
Throughout the day, students visit various commands and get hands-on with equipment. For Sophia Brown, there was one job she looks forward to the most.
I was most interested in seeing the divers and the ROV, remote operated vehicle, and they showed us how it works and all the controls.
STEM conferences like this proved to be a valuable resource. Yokosuka Middle School, along with Zama and Atsugi, plan for more events in the future. Seaman Sonia Wickard, Yokosuka Naval Base, Japan.
How many times do you hear a parent complain that their teen just doesn't listen? Well, it could be that they're actually having a hard time hearing. Staff Sergeant Mike Larman explains.
A recent study reveals that 1 in 5 teenagers has suffered hearing damage caused by loud music. Nearly a 60% increase over the past 10 years. A major culprit in that alarming rise is the headphones. That's what brings Chief Audiologist Captain Tammy Baker to Yokota High School. Not to persuade the students to unplug from their musical paradise, but to simply turn it down.
Classrooms are very difficult listening environments. College classrooms are very difficult listening environments. So if they're damaging their hearing, they're going to find life a lot more difficult as they go on.
Insert headphones like these are very popular. The problem is they direct all of the sound energy directly to the eardrum, and they can produce sounds up to 120 decibels. At levels that high, there is no such thing as a safe listening time.
The insert earphones that block out the other sounds and create kind of a vacuum in the ear canal and a direct line for the sound pressure to reach the eardrum also really increase the amount of noise reaching the ear and therefore increase the potential damage from loud noises.
Baker invited students to see how damaging music can be at their personal listening volume using an educational dummy fitted with a sound level meter. Volunteer Nick Peterson measured at 95 decibels, which allows for 1 hour of safe listening. As someone who listens to music throughout each day, Peterson says he'll now be a little more protective of his hearing.
I'm not trying to damage my ears, so turn it down more. So just don't listen to my music as loud.
And it's that change in behavior that Captain Baker hopes to see in students throughout the Pacific. A change that ensures students can still listen to their music while preserving their hearing for the future. Air Force Staff Sergeant Mike Larman, Yokota Air Base, Japan.
That's it for this newscast. From all of us here at AFM Pacific, thanks for watching.